All right, hello everybody, and welcome into Before the Sandstorm here on Gamecock Central. Kendall Smith joined alongside of Wes Mitchell here live at Soda City Market on Main Street in Columbia, South Carolina. We said we're doing a world tour, or at
We're
least
doing a Columbia tour at the very
tour
least.
of Before the Sandstorm. So we are out here as promised. Wes, how do you like it out here? I mean, it's a different vibe, but it's fun.
It's a good vibe. We got some live music. We got people everywhere. Soda City, and this is not, by the way, an ad for
Yeah, it's
Soda
not
City.
sponsored.
No
But
payment
we would accept a
involved.
sponsorship.
Yeah, if y'all got cash back here,
We're
we will
right
take
here
it.
at the Art Museum
But,
courtyard.
Yeah, this is cool. Honestly, this is one of my favorite kind of, I don't know if it's a hidden thing anymore. Most people know about it, but this is one of my favorite local things in Columbia because you got so many options for food. You can come here and spend like $100 like that. So Kendall already did, but I'm gonna go spend my money after we do this.
Yeah, I got some flowers. So in a good mood to start the day. It's a gorgeous day here in Columbia. Perfect fall day for football. We're a couple days into fall now, so it is officially football season. And I'm ready for tonight's game. South Carolina taking on Charlotte at 7:30 p.m. from Williams-Brice Stadium. We're going to get into the entire game right here on Before the Sandstorm today. But Wes, I just want to kind of start it off talking about the obvious, and that's the fact that South Carolina's offense has stalled a little bit to start off the season. Now, given they did play two incredibly tough opponents in Arkansas and Georgia, but I think a lot of fans wanting to see what South Carolina's offense is supposed to look like tonight. Do you think we could have the chance at seeing that?
You know, I think you can kind of explain away things to an extent so far. Certainly, you can say, all right, Georgia, they're going to make a lot of people look really, really bad. Like, they made Oregon look really bad, and then Oregon gets a big win over top 25 BYU team. Game one, even, yeah, it's Georgia State. You can explain away, okay, look, first game in this new offense for a lot of these guys, first game playing together. I think you can give a benefit of the doubt for a lot of what you saw if you really want to. But I think this week, like tonight, playing Charlotte, I know you got some stats for them. Playing Charlotte, this is a team that's given up a lot of points. So now you're talking about week 4 for South Carolina. You've played together. You've been together. You know, it's a lot of the same guys on the field now. The offense has not had the injuries that the defense has had to deal with. I think fans, and, you know, rightfully so, fans are sitting there saying, all right, y'all got to show me something tonight. Y'all got to show me something next week against SC State. And for South Carolina, you really have got to be able to build some confidence going into this stretch as we look ahead a little bit. You got Kentucky, you know, not next week, but the week after. Such a big game for South Carolina. That full stretch of games after that are going to kind of define the season, I think.
Right.
So you've got to find something on offense. Identity is a word that gets thrown around probably too much, but there's a reason it gets thrown around a lot. This team needs to find what do we do well on offense, and then can we stick to that?
And I think they need to show something on offense this week, not just because they need to prove that they have an identity and they need to get some internal confidence back, but also you mentioned the fans. It's another sellout at Williams-Brice Stadium tonight. They're 3 for 3 on the season so far when it comes to sellouts. It's Parents Weekend here at South Carolina. So I think this is kind of the breaking point. Like, if South Carolina doesn't show something on offense, if they don't get started quick, if they don't have some explosive plays in tonight's game, I think a lot of fans will kind of turn that corner of apathy, and they'll be like, okay, if we can't do it against Charlotte, how do we expect this team to do it against Kentucky, against Texas A&M, Tennessee, Florida, etc.? But you did mention Charlotte's defense struggling, and I think this is an opportunity for South Carolina's offense tonight. Charlotte gives up an average of 45.25 points per game. They are one of the worst rated defenses, according to the AP, in all of college football. So if South Carolina doesn't show something tonight with 5-star quarterback Spencer Rattler, along with some of the other offensive weapons they have, that is a massive problem for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, it is. And I think if South Carolina goes out, let's say they score 45 points today, that doesn't mean everything is automatically fixed. Like,
Right.
Doing it against this team kind of just means you did what you were supposed to do, I think, to an extent. But I still think that would be an upgrade over what we have seen. Like, there have been some plays to be made that have frankly not been made. And I think what you want to see today is better execution, better flow, better rhythm. Like, I feel like it's kind of a thing. It's not even necessarily about the exact point total. It's going to be more about it just feels different. Does it look like they are in a rhythm on offense? Are they operating efficiently? And I would like to see them at times just kind of take what is there. I know it just feels like there aren't a lot of like 2nd and 5s or 3rd and 2s for this team.
Yeah.
Sometimes that means maybe you call a pass play that's designed to go down the field, but it's not there. You see the really good offenses. Look at Stetson Bennett last week. He took the underneath throws that were there, and that put them in 2nd and 4, 3rd and 1. And then you're just operating without so much pressure on this offensive line. Like, the offensive line obviously gets a lot of hate. And, some of it is deserved, let's be honest. But at the same time, most offensive lines, if you put them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 10s, when the other team knows they're just going to have to rush the passer, not worry about the run, it's going to be hard to kind of consistently give your quarterback time. So I would like to see the offense, I don't want to say be more conservative, but just take what is there and then just be specific about, like, be deliberate about when you take those shots down the field.
Yeah, it's staying on schedule for South Carolina, and, it's making sure that today in the game they are able to make, I think, some smarter decisions. Spencer Rattler already with 5 interceptions throughout the season so far. That's right, 5? 5?
Yes.
Yeah, 5. 5 interceptions
right.
throughout the season far. We hope that's right. We're pretty sure. We don't have any of the notes in front of us. But yeah, just making some smarter decisions for the offense, staying on schedule, and then avoiding those 3 and outs. Shane Beamer talked about it all week long. That's been a problem for South Carolina as well. And that's the quickest way to disengage a fan base. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Especially at the top of the game. Like, start the game with 3 and out.
Well, last week against Georgia, South Carolina started the game with the first down, and then, quick, 1, 2, 3, they're off the field. So, again, lots at stake for the offense this week. I think the fans really expecting something big from South Carolina, and I think they expect to see what this offense should really look like for the first time all season long. But, Wes, I think a lot of players throughout this season probably haven't lived up to what some fans were expecting, especially at the start of the season. So this is a chance, I think, for some of them to get some touches, maybe to get some of that confidence back. Who are some of those guys that you want to see in today's game that were maybe bigger names last year and maybe had more of a role last year, kind of step in to their role this year and get some confidence?
Yeah, I'm going to take a cue from WJM41. I don't know what that name means, but he's got a good point here. Talking about Jaheim Bell, I think this is a guy that we really thought would maybe be the focal point of this entire offense. Like, I think you looked at it and you knew they were going to spread the ball around quite a bit this year, but I thought Zero would have a lot more touches, a lot more success with the football so far. It really just they haven't gotten him the football a lot. So I would look for him today. I think if he could have a big game, that would be really big to kind of get this offense going. But then it's all the other pieces as well. We saw Antoine Wells Jr., huge game against Arkansas. Then they didn't really get him the football against Georgia. Sometimes that happens, but I would like to see this be like a complete effort on offense. One of those games where you say, well, this guy caught 5 passes, this guy caught 7 passes, this guy got involved. Marshawn Lloyd, we've seen it in flashes, I feel like. Like, we have seen some plays where you're like, explosiveness, quickness, ability to make people miss. We've yet to see him have a game in his career where he's really able to just get going. I'll use the word rhythm again, find a rhythm. And, he hasn't had a 100-yard day yet. That was my prediction in Chris Clark's predictions for the game, is that Marshawn Lloyd gets 100 today. I feel like this is a defense where you can kind of pick what you want to do. You can throw it if you want. You can run it if you want. Getting Marshawn in rhythm, maybe getting Juju a little more involved.
Right.
Like, he
had a pretty good game last week.
One of the few bright spots last week. I feel like Juju, has maybe been their most consistent player on offense so far. Like, when he's been in, good things have happened. So it's hard to get the ball to everybody. So all these guys we're talking about can't have huge games, but you just like to see everybody involved, something positive happen for all these guys, and just give them something to build on moving into next week.
I'd like to see a little bit more of that Rattler-Stogner connection, involve the tight ends a little bit more, as you mentioned earlier. That's something I'm personally hoping for today. Also, Juju as well. He had a great game last week, and so hopefully he's getting some more touches and continued touches today. But, Wes, I think for Charlotte, we talk about how they don't have the best defense and how They're not a Power 5 school, but they do have a player who is extremely talented, and that is Chris Reynolds, their quarterback. He is in his 6th year at Charlotte. He's the all-time passing leader for the Charlotte 49ers. He's led 5 game-winning drives in the 4th quarter or in overtime. Last week, he was on the All-State Sugar Bowl Manning Award watch list. So he is a guy for Charlotte that, in their opinion, is maybe the best player to ever come through that program. Now, they don't have a super long history of Charlotte football. They've been around for less than 10 years, but really, really talented players. South Carolina's defense, a little bit banged up right now. You talk about Jordan Strawn and Mo Kaba being out for the entire season. Of course, Spalding and Rush are out today as well, too. So for South Carolina's defense, do you feel comfortable about their ability to contain Chris Reynolds?
I don't know if comfortable is the word. Like, this dude is gutsy. I was about to say this kid is gutsy. He's a grown man now. I think 6th year, has broken all their records, single season record for passing touchdowns and yardage throwing, also career touchdowns and passing yardage holder for their school in its 10 years. So this guy's good. Like, I don't think he's going to be intimidated. And by the way, he looks, that picture you put up in your opponent preview, y'all go check it out. He looks like Perry Orth. Like, in the face,
really?
There is a Perry Orth vibe here. And they're similar players. Like, I think this guy just had, I don't know, he has some moxie about him. I know
he does.
that's like a quarterback cliche, but that's just what I think of when I see him play. Like, he's got some guts.
Yeah, he does. So Chris Reynolds, I've watched since the beginning of his time at Charlotte. And when he came in, when he was a freshman and he was playing for the 49ers, like, he still had that same kind of mentality about him. He doesn't care that he's coming to Williams-Brice Stadium at 7:30 p.m. on a Saturday at a Power 5 SEC school with a fan base that is absolutely rowdy. He does not care. Like,
I know
Chris Reynolds.
That, right?
I've interviewed Chris Reynolds. I respect it. He's one of these guys that South Carolina, if you're thinking of anybody, if you need to know anybody's name on Charlotte's team, you need to know Chris Reynolds. Now, the one thing is, yes, he's extremely talented. I'm not quite sure he's got the talent around him on the offense to really put a dent in this game that Charlotte would like to, but Chris Reynolds is that guy for the Charlotte 49ers, and he has been now. He's in his 6th year, so lots and lots of experience, and I like to say ice in his veins, Wes, because he is very much the type of guy to not be intimidated whatsoever. We've got a Sandstorm remix behind us. I can't stay focused right now.
We do. We got a lot going on. This is a great background, by the way. We've got a little greenery behind us. I wish you could see the people a little bit more. There are a ton of people out here at Soda City. This DJ, if it's the same guy that's always out here, DJ Voodoo, I think is who that is. Like, he is good. Like, he'll be mixing stuff together that you had no idea could ever flow together, and you're like, dang, that was impressive. So y'all come on out. We'll probably be gone by the time you get here, but check out Soda City. Pretty awesome out here. And Kendall, I'm curious to watch Chris Reynolds play today because I'm a fan just from what little bit I've seen of him as I was getting ready for this game. I respect guys that can just go out there and just kind of cut all this out. Like, as you said, he doesn't care that there's going to be 80,000 people there. If you have 5 game-winning drives in your career, you definitely have some guts about you. Yeah. And he's a smaller guy too. Like, he's not the guy you're going to look at and say, oh, he's an NFL draft pick. But he just goes out there and makes plays. I think the key for South Carolina, though, disrupt their offensive line up front, get pressure on Reynolds. As Chris Clark has said several times, because he is gutsy, he's willing to put the ball in danger a little bit. Yes, he's willing to throw the ball up a little bit. That probably is a situation where you get away with that against some teams. If you're South Carolina, you want to make sure he doesn't get away with that today.
Yeah, make him pay with turnovers, and South Carolina has struggled, with that on defense all season. Last year, they led the SEC in turnovers. This year, they're towards the bottom, if not last in the SEC in forcing turnovers. So again, not just an opportunity for the offense to gain some confidence this week, but a banged up defense needs to gain some confidence this week. I do think it'll be a little bit easier for South Carolina's offense on Charlotte's defense than it will be for South Carolina's defense on Charlotte's offense. Wes, need game score predictions before we get out of here on Before the Sandstorm.
All right, so this is already on Gamecock Central. If you want to see everybody's predictions, go check it out. That's a free story. You don't have to subscribe. I had 40-17
Okay.
South Carolina, obviously. And, I went back and forth a little bit on what I thought Charlotte was going to score. I think they're going to move the ball. Charlotte will.
Yes.
I think this is a game, though, a lot of times against these teams, they're a little bit more overmatched. There'll be turnovers. A lot of times they'll kind of bog down when they get inside the 20 because the field compresses. That's when South Carolina's defensive front should be able to kind of take over a little bit. Harder to run the football down there. Passes get batted up. A lot of times you see these teams, they'll be a little more willing to go for it on fourth down because they know they're trying to pull the upset. Those can kind of swing it one way or the other to where either it's a great drive but doesn't end up in points, or a great drive where they end up getting a touchdown instead of a field goal in a situation where a team maybe usually would have just taken the easy 3 points. So a lot of times when Carolina blows out teams like this, they have to have turnovers to do it, I feel like. So that, to me, will be the difference between a somewhat tighter, a little bit more uncomfortable game for Carolina fans versus just, all right, it's cool, up by 21 points, and everybody's just enjoying family day here, parents' weekend. What do you call it?
I think they call it family weekend.
Family weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, I combine those things. But
my parents are actually here watching.
yeah, shout out
They're
Kendall's
literally
parents.
watching us right now.
Hey, can we get an applause over there?
Yes.
There
we
we
have
go.
a live audience.
Oh, we do. We have other people too.
That's so nice.
We do have a live audience. What's your score?
I've got 38-13, I believe. Obviously, South Carolina winning. I think this is going to be a pretty comfortable game for South Carolina. I don't think there's ever really going to be like a major point where it's like this game is in danger, so to speak. I do think Charlotte will be able to put up some points in the first half, but I think South Carolina will really separate themselves in the second half. So I've got 38-13. You'd obviously like to see South Carolina score more than 38 points because, like I said, Charlotte gives up an average of 45.25 points per game. So every single game that Charlotte has played this season, their defense has let up more than 40 points. So
all I have to say, Kendall, is if the chat is any indication, this is going to be a much rowdier atmosphere than maybe you would think for a Charlotte game. Because folks in the chat are already...
Are you guys out already? You guys tailgating?
They're already drinking beer.
Are you coming to Williams-Brice Stadium today? We need to know.
Let
us know in the
shots.
Comments. Or are you staying home, going to have a home tailgate, watching College Game Day? No, you're watching Before the Sandstorm and then College Game Day.
Yeah, you got a compliment that you are well-dressed.
Thank you to SC Scout Guy's wife. That is so nice.
Clearly, she did not see your glasses yesterday. She wouldn't have said that. Otherwise.
Yeah, I had sunglasses on the other day that I was just getting
got some
hated
Jack
on
Daniels
for.
Drinking going on.
Yeah, everyone seems like they're in a good mood today. It's a gorgeous day. I saw we got a question earlier about
the weather.
The weather. It is stunning here in South Carolina. It is a perfect fall day. I have on my fall boots. I have on some long sleeves.
Same.
So, yeah, it's like such a nice day for fall football here in South Carolina. I'm worried it's the fake fall, though. Like, I'm worried we're going to get summer back next week.
It's always fake fall. And
I thought we already had fake fall, though.
No, this is fake fall part 2, I think. But I will say this: if you're going to the game, I'm gonna put on my weatherman hat here for a second.
All right, we're gonna throw it to Wes Mitchell in the studio with more on weather. Wes,
need a green screen
what
behind
do
us.
you got?
But for real, it's probably gonna get a little bit chilly as the game goes on. So this is one of those days you're gonna be hot while you're tailgating, but take a jacket, take a blanket, take something, because by the time halftime hits, you're going to be wanting to leave because it's going to be cold. So be prepared. Don't be that person. And if you're basically make sure your wife takes a jacket as well. Like look out for everybody that's going with you.
Look out for everybody.
And be ready because it's going to be chilly.
Where is Chris? Chris is not on Before the Sandstorm. Maybe if Wes isn't here one day, Chris will be the backup.
Yeah,
but
Before the Sandstorm is
Chris
Kendall
is on
and Wes.
GC Live. Before the Sandstorm is me and Wes. After the Sandstorm is Colin Taylor and then me too. And then GC Live is Chris and Wes. So we have a bunch of live shows throughout the week that change up. But game day coverage is going to be
over here.
Yeah, it's awesome. Saturdays are for the dads. I like that.
Got some dancing going on.
But tonight, we are going to have full and total coverage starting actually this afternoon of South Carolina's game against Charlotte. Myself, Michael Sauls, Colin Taylor, all going to be at Williams-Brice Stadium. We've got Gamecock Walk covered for you. pre-game covered for you, obviously during the game, and then after the game as well. We'll have After the Sandstorm. I believe there's also going to be another live show after with Mike Yuva, where they're going to talk about the game and break it down as well. So we will have so much coverage for you. Head over to GamecockCentral.com and subscribe. It's only $10 for the entire year. And by the time it's all said and done with all the articles that we have, you're probably paying like 1 penny per article. Completely worth it. You can also follow us on our social media. I'll be on social media vlogging the whole day. That'll be posted tomorrow so you can see behind the scenes. We're at Gamecock Central on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whole 9 yards.
All the things.
Wes, are you excited?
I am. I'm ready. I'm ready to get some food, honestly.
The most excited I've been all season for a game. I'm from Charlotte, ready for it. I know a lot of the Charlotte players, and I know Will Healy from my time in covering Charlotte. So I'm pumped up, and they're close, just a right across the border team that South Carolina.
You didn't wear your Charlotte shirt today.
Well, I work for the Charlotte Knights, and I was wearing a Charlotte shirt the other day on our recruiting rundown. By the way, really, really quick, asked about recruits. Yes, number 1 recruit in the class of 2025 coming out today to watch the game.
Yes, Elijah Griffin, big-time player. He actually, I believe, visited South Carolina this summer as well. I know he was scheduled to. I think he made it in on that visit. Sometimes it all runs together. But this kid is like the next big thing, I think. 2025, I know young, like that probably makes us all feel a little bit old. But for guys like this, when it's just obvious that they're going to be superstars, it really does start this early. So important to get these kids in. That doesn't mean you're going to sign them. It just means you're going to be in the conversation a year from now, 2 years from now. So that's pretty big, I think, to go ahead and get him back on campus. Isaiah Jada, 2023 commitment. He'll be on his official visit this weekend. That's big as well, even though he's committed, because he's gotten some bigger offers lately. Auburn has offered. Oklahoma State has offered. And just someone that South Carolina wants to keep in their class, obviously, and could come in and play early and help this offensive line next year.
Yeah, Elijah Griffin from Savannah, Georgia, goes to Savannah Christian Prep. And, he is 2025, but South Carolina already has a couple of 2024 commits in Carson Hobbs and Dante Reno. So that next class is 2025. He's here today, number 1
Carson Hobbs will be here today as well.
In that 2025 class. We got to a lot today, Wes. Thank you so much.
Have you noticed we always go over?
We go over the time. We said, okay, 15 minutes. We're both talkers, so we went over the time. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us today on Before the Sandstorm. We've got South Carolina taking on Charlotte tonight at 7:30 from Williams-Brice Stadium. It's going to be a great time. Stay safe out there. Follow us on social media. Head over to GamecockCentral.com for more. He's Wes Mitchell. I'm Kendall Smith. This has been Before the Sandstorm. Happy game day, everybody.